Ooh, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
It is really great to talk to both of you, with both of you. I've been a fan actually of the show, so I was really excited to hear that there's some really exciting things coming. And I just wanted to kind of introduce our audience, maybe to the show for the first time, and learn about your experiences. So, Shakina, I'd love. Am I saying your name right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd love to chat with you. And then Wilder as well. Maybe I can just take notes as both of you are talking to see,
Sure.
make sure that I credit the right person. Um, but first, Shakina, I'd love to hear from you, how this opportunity came about, and what you're still excited to talk about.
Yeah. So I I learned that Quantum Leap was going to be coming back in this sort of like new sequel version,
Mhm.
and I had worked with the executive producer showrunner Martin Gero on Connecting, which was a show I did for NBC during the pandemic. It was like a sitcom we shot from home, and I was really fortunate to have like a groundbreaking series regular role on that show as like a first trans actress in a leading role in a network sitcom. That was really exciting. And Martin and I
Yeah.
had been talking about developing more stuff together. And when I heard that Quantum Leap was coming back, I was like, "What? Get me in that writer's room!" Because I grew
Awesome.
up with the show, and I knew how important the show
Mhm.
was for creating these bridges of empathy every week. And
Mhm.
the one thing I remembered about the show, was the way it made me feel seen in my otherness. Even in ways that I, as a young person, couldn't really express. I
Yeah.
felt like I understood what that character Sam was going through, being in other people's bodies every week to week.
Mhm.
So I kind of felt like, oh, with the new Quantum Leap, we have the possibility to tell more queer and trans stories in a way that are getting into America's living rooms and now the world's living rooms, really. And the way that I watch the show with my family now, like there are new families watching the show, and how to give
Yeah,
them, hopeful messages.
absolutely. And you can definitely tell that it's very inclusive. The storylines are very, driven in a way that allows everyone at the table. And I guess my question to you would be on that. Do you feel a sense of responsibility to make sure that that happens? And is
Yeah.
there a large group of people like you, or is it like you're the sounding board kind of thing?
I mean, in for so we have Mason Alexander Park, who's a series regular, a non-binary actor, a total dream to work with, and
Hmm.
then I'm, the trans person on staff, as the writer, as an executive story editor, and there are some other like genderqueer people on the crew, but I'm pretty much the sole voice behind the
Awesome.
screen, representing the trans experience, and it feels like a huge responsibility, but I also remind myself that there are, for the first time in history, other trans creators at my level and beyond who are doing the same thing on their shows. And so we're all kind of in it together, forging new territory, and then with having the opportunity to bring in work for creatives like Wilder, like just like building relationships and creating platforms for more trans artists. So
Mm.
I'm like a drop in the bucket, and I'm cool with that because it's a great bucket.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for that. I want to make sure to include Wilder here in these questions too. So I'm just going to transition there for a second. Don't mind the pun on that, but Wilder, I'd love to chat with you about your experiences as well on the episode that's coming up.
Yeah,
Is there
totally.
anything that you'd like to share that maybe stood out for you in filming, or something that we can
Absolutely.
look forward to?
Yeah, definitely. I have been talking about this nonstop about how important it is to have not only trans representation in front of the camera, but behind it. I've definitely been on sets where it sort of fell on me to advocate for myself, which is, it happens. But it was a real joy to get to the set, and especially working with Shakina. I felt really taken care of, like even to the point where she was doing stuff that I wasn't even aware of. She was talking to the crew and being like, you need to angle up because if you shoot them in this way, it's like it makes them look like very feminine. And not only this actor and this character would not want to be portrayed that way. Their gender presentations were masculine. That's kind of not their if you could you angle it up? And I like having someone on set to do that is like it was revolutionary for me. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And that's truly stood out in this experience.
that's wonderful. And so the trans character that's on the show currently, I think has been such a huge addition to the show, coming back and kind of saying like this is the modern, you know, realm of what's going on, you know, and everyone just get used to it kind of
Yeah.
thing. Have you had either of you, have you had any pushback or any sort of not censorship, but maybe any kind of feedback about toning it down, or, you know, what might your response be to
I mean, listen,
that?
um, you know, it's a complicated moment culturally, and our show tries to lead with love and lead with empathy and invite people in, you know, every week. And Mason is such an angel in terms of the way that they have led with love and representing our community on the show and online and social media and in their own life, you know. And myself as a writer, you know, like it's different when I'm not on camera, you know, and I'm not subjected to the same critique and gaze. Um, when I'm a writer, it's like, what are people saying about the words that I put together and the stories and the characters I put together? I'll say, like, I couldn't be more proud of what we're doing to bring forward this story of this episode and what we were able to bring forward with the episode I wrote in the first season. But
Mhm,
also, you know, Let Them Play, my episode from season
mhm.
one, was like review bombed on IMDb, and there was like a whole campaign from like, you know, trans exclusionary people to make sure that there's like a 1 star or 1.0 or whatever rating on my episode. It's like, I don't care. That tells me I'm doing something right. If I piss you off that much that you have to organize a campaign to review bomb my
Yeah,
episode, like, cool,
yeah.
cool, cool. Because you know what? Quantum Leap is going to be fine. And so
Good
will
for
I.
you.
But I will say that for people who do love the show and love what we stand for and love the way that we lead, like, make your voices heard, because it really helps
Yeah.
us. It gives us courage to keep going, and it helps, you know, the network and the studio understand that, like, we have what people want and we're giving it to them.
Yeah, I absolutely, I can absolutely see that. And I mean, as a viewer and also a reviewer, as well as a writer and all of the things, I just find it to be super great, you know, on different levels and different ways that you bring people in, and whatever that is. This episode coming up does seem like another one where there's a great opportunity. I don't have time to go into it though, because I only have, like, I think, 1 minute with you. So I just want to thank you both for taking the time with me, and for answering these questions. And hopefully we'll connect again and I'll be able to kind of keep the conversation going with you. But best of luck with everything.
Absolutely,
Thanks,
Sarah. Thank
Sarah.
you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you. Have a good one.